All right, welcome back to the podcast. Today we are diving deep into Bharti Airtel's Q3 FY25 financial results. It looks like they've been pretty busy, huh?
Absolutely. It's a jam-packed report. Bharti Airtel, for those who don't know, is a huge telecom player with over 550 million customers across 15 countries, mainly in India and Africa. They offer mobile services, broadband, digital TV, the whole shebang. I mean, they are like a giant octopus in the telecom world. There are tentacles everywhere.
An octopus, huh? That's a visual. So, what's the big picture from this earnings report? Give me the highlights.
Well, first off, consolidated quarterly revenues are up nearly 20% year on year, hitting rupees 45,129 crore. India is doing well, Africa is holding its own, and they've consolidated Indus Towers, which adds a whole new layer to their business model now.
Indus Towers, that's the tower infrastructure company, right? So, Airtel owns a piece of that?
Exactly. Now, with this consolidation, Airtel essentially has a bigger piece of the pie in the passive infrastructure services sector. They can build, own, and operate towers, then lease them out to other telecom providers. Smart move.
So, that's like being both the landlord and a tenant at the same time. How's India specifically performing?
India's revenues are up almost 25% year on year, driven by tariff repairs, basically price increases in mobile, and a booming homes business. They're adding a ton of fiber to the home customers, which is really boosting those numbers. The number of customers is approximately 414 million.
Tariff repairs. That's a fancy way of saying they raised prices, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but it's about sustainability, right? It is what Gopal Vittal, the vice chairman and MD, said. The industry needs further tariff repair to ensure sustained investments and long-term value creation.
Okay, spin noted. What about Africa? It seems like that's a key market for them.
Africa's revenue is up over 21% in constant currency, which strips out exchange rate fluctuations to give you a clearer picture of real growth. Customer base is also climbing, sitting at 163.1 million, although EBITDA margins there are slightly down, about 1.1% pips COY.
EBITDA margin, that's earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. So that's a measure of their core profitability, right?
Precisely. And actually, Airtel's pushing a new metric, EBITDA, which includes lease obligations. They say it gives a more realistic view of profitability and leverage because management is now being held accountable for this metric.
Makes sense. It's like including rent when you're figuring out how well your lemonade stand is doing. Let's talk numbers. What's the ARPU looking like?
ARPU, or average revenue per user in India, jumped to rupees 245 in Q3 25, up from rupees 208 a year ago. That shows they're getting more money out of each subscriber, which is key.
Nice. More rupees per user. Any other interesting trends they're seeing?
Oh yeah, their homes business is on fire, adding 674,000 customers in the quarter. People want that sweet, sweet fiber, and they're fighting spam like crazy, which people love.
Spam fighting as a selling point? Interesting. How are they doing that?
Apparently, they have an AI-powered system that identifies over 1 million unique spammers daily, blocking tons of spam calls and SMS messages. Gotta love AI stepping in to save us from those pesky telemarketers. By the way, if you're liking what you're hearing, folks, hit that like button, share this podcast, and of course, subscribe to our channel.
Definitely. Okay, balance sheet time. Are they swimming in debt or riding smoothly?
They're actually deleveraging, which is good. Net debt to EBITDA ratio is down. They prepaid rupees 3,626 crore in high-cost spectrum dues.
Deleveraging, fancy financial term for paying off debt, right? Spectrum dues. Those are payments for the rights to use radio frequencies for their mobile network.
Exactly. Getting rid of high interest debt is always a smart move, to be fair. They are also using AI in data centers to optimize energy efficiency with Nextra.
So less debt and more AI. Sounds like they're trying to be responsible and innovative. What's the outlook for Airtel?
Well, Gopal Vittal mentioned they're retooling their Airtel business portfolio, investing heavily in digital services like cloud, security, and IoT. This might hit their top line a bit in the short term, but they expect margins to hold steady. And he believes the industry needs further tariff repair to ensure sustained investments and long-term value creation.
Retooling and tariff repair sounds like classic management speak. Disclaimer: we advise investors to check with certified experts before taking any investment decisions. But overall, things seem cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, I'd say so. They're growing in India and Africa, they're managing their debt, and they're investing in future proofing their business. From a financial standpoint, it looks reasonably strong.
What about those exceptional items you mentioned earlier?
Right. So this quarter saw some big swings there, primarily due to the Indus Towers consolidation. They recorded a gain of rupees 143,225 million from that, but it was offset by regulatory levies of rupees 63,586 million and an impairment charge on intangible assets of rupees 17,404 million.
Intangible assets, that's like licenses and brand value, things you can't physically touch. And an impairment charge means they had to write down the value of those assets because they're not worth as much as they thought.
You got it. So while the Indus consolidation gave them a bump, there were some offsetting factors there to consider. Think of it like baking a cake. You add some sugar, which is great, but realize you have to remove some flour so it's not too dense.
Makes sense. Any thoughts on how these results might affect investors?
Well, the strong revenue growth and deleveraging are definitely positive signals. The ARPU increase in India is a big win. However, they've said themselves that retooling Airco business might impact revenue short term. There's a lot to unpack.
Right, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Anything from the auditors we should know about?
Yes, the standard stuff, nothing major. They've audited the consolidated and standalone financial results and given them a thumbs up. There's mention of another auditor looking at some smaller numbers from an associate company, but it doesn't change the overall picture.
Good to know the numbers are solid. So, to summarize, Airtel's growing, deleveraging, and facing some short term challenges as it invests in the future. A mixed bag, but leaning positive.
That pretty much nails it. Plus, they're doing some interesting things with AI to fight spam and optimize their data centers. So there's some innovation there too. The consolidation of Indus Towers is a strategic move that is already positively impacting revenue.
Well, sounds like Airtel's keeping busy.
They definitely are. Okay, before we wrap up, another quick reminder to subscribe to the channel, give us a like and share.
Absolutely. Now, let's turn it over to you, the listeners. What do you think about Bharti Airtel's latest performance? Are you bullish on their future, or do you see potential headwinds on the horizon? Let us know in the comments below.